Hey YouTube, this is Moth89 here with another deck video. This is the deck video for my Falcon Fortune deck. The only video I've ever posted for decks would always be my Dragon deck, but I wanted to post something different because I never posted videos for my other decks, so people usually think that I only have one deck when I actually have like maybe 2 or 3 decks. So yeah, this is my Falcon Fortune deck. So alright, let's get started. It runs 3 Fortunately Lights. They're the main engine of the deck. They search out for any Fortune Ladies whenever they are removed from the field by a card effect. And as you all know, Fortune Ladies levels go up once per turn, well, during your standby phase. And their attacks depend on them, I guess, on their levels. One Fortune Lady Fire. Only good for minor burn damage and destroying monsters too. The only bad thing about this card is having it in your hand, because in your hand it's one of the most useless cards ever. Double Fortunately Windy. She's like the breaker of the deck. She can't be trap hold or bottomless though, so it's kind of good for that. When you normal summon her, she destroys spell or trap cards on the field equal to the number of Fortunately you have on the field. So if you have at least maybe 2 or 3 Fortunately, you can pop 3. But if your opponent has less than the number that you have, then her effect just fizzles and you won't be able to destroy anything. But other than that, she's pretty interesting. Unfortunately, Water. She's the draw engine of the deck. Whenever she's special summoned, while there's another Fortunately on the field other than Water, you draw 2 cards. So, very simple. 3 Fortunately Darks. Out of all the Fortune Ladies, this is one of the main beat sticks. Whenever she kills a monster by battle, as long as she's face up on the field, whenever a Fortune Lady destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can special summon another Fortune Lady from the graveyard. So she can actually stack up her effects. So if you have one, it kills one monster, you bring out another one. If that one kills one monster, you bring out 2 more from the graveyard. And yeah, that's how it goes. Miss Valley Falcon. He's a 2K beater. Works really well with some of the cards that go in the deck, because you use them once and they'll stay there forever unless you can bounce them back, and that's why the Miss Valley Falcons are in here. By the way, I don't run Fortunately Earth because she's not very useful. She does minor burn damage every time her level goes up, but other than that, not very good, in my opinion. One Tragodia. Tragodia was really good in Fortunately decks until they got limited to 1. But it's still a pretty good tech. It's a pretty good card to have in the deck, since Fortunately you usually have the advantage of draw power. So yeah, you usually have a lot of cards whenever you have this card in your hand. Double Junk Synchron for synchroning, obviously. Mainly use it as synchro or summon Fortunately Lights and then remove them with a different dimension gate, or yeah, to be able to special summon more Fortunately from the deck. Crystal Seer, draw power, pretty much. Princess Magician, use it to search out for Crystal Seers or Fortune Lady Light, so then I can later use different dimension gate on it. Future Visions, the field spell of the deck. Whenever a monster is normal summon, it gets removed and then it comes back on your next standby phase. So it works for both players, obviously. And what's also interesting about the card is if your opponent normal summons a monster and it gets removed, if you remove this card from the field either by activating another one or bouncing it back to your hand with a giant Trunade or something, the monster is not going to come back. This card has to stay on the field for your monster to come back, which is pretty annoying if you're using it on your opponent, if you know how to use it against your opponent. Double Fortune's Future for draw power, since unfortunately get removed via Future Visions or Allure of Darkness or a different dimension gate. So you put them back in your graveyard and you draw 2 cards. One Allure of Darkness. The best target for this is Darky. I run other Darks, but best target for it is Darky, because draw 2, remove Darky, and then I can activate a Fortune's Future to put it back in the grave and draw 2. One Scapegoat, either for synchroning or for DD gate or just a stall. One Giant Trunade, stable. Monster Reborn, stable. Different dimension gate. It's a continuous spell card. Whenever you activate it, you have to select one monster you have on the field and one monster your opponent has on the field, and you remove them both from play. When this card is destroyed, both monsters come back. But if this card is bounced back to your hand, then they stay removed. And that's technically why I run the Mist Valley Falcon. Because for Mist Valley Falcon to attack, you have to return one card you have back to your hand. And keeps it going like that. Also, if you remove an opponent's monster while it's face down, it stays removed face down. It doesn't get removed face up. Alright, one Dark Hole, stable. One Pot of Avarice, because the deck does thin out really easily with all the drawing and everything. Mirror Force, stable. Torrential, another staple. Double 7 tools. 7 tools right now is really good. Everybody knows what it does. It's counter trap. Pay 1,000 to stop any trap card. 2 Fiendish Chains. Works well with obviously to stop effect monsters from using their effects like Dad or Black Rose. And usually you bounce them back with Mist Valley Falcon so I can reuse them again later. Royal Oppression for to lock down your opponent a little bit with special summonings, because sometimes when they don't see another option out, they'll try to special summon and swarm the field, but it's pretty good to stop that. And double Bending Destiny. This is like the Solemn Judgment for Fortune Ladies. You can only activate it if all your monsters on the field are Fortune Lady. It negates the normal summon of a monster or the activation of a spell or trap, negates it and removes that card from play. And then it goes back to your opponent's hand at the end of the turn. I know it's pretty bad, the card being returned to your opponent, but this card's very useful to use whenever your opponent uses a very high cost card like Solemn Judgment or Solemn Warning, any of those. Alright, for the extra deck, I run one Tempest Magician, because all the Fortune Ladies are spellcasters, and the tuner I use, Junk Synchron, goes nicely with them. One Arcanite, another spellcaster synchro, pretty good for popping cards. Stardust, Black Rose, Scrap Dragon, Dark End Dragon. It's pretty easy to summon. Go Junk Synchron to a Fortunately Light, DD Gate the Fortunately Light if your opponent has a monster on the field, and then summon Darky through Lighty's effect, and you get your free Dark End Dragon. 100 Eyes Dragon. Pretty tricky to summon. Very tricky to summon this card in the deck, because obviously you need a Dark Tuner and non-Fiend type, non-Tuner Fiend type monsters, and the only Fiend type monster in the entire deck is Tragodia. So what I'll do is Junk Synchron while I have Tragodia on the field, and then use Tragodia's effect to copy Fortunately Dark's level while she's in the graveyard, and there you go. One Goya Guardian, stable. Junk Destroyer, might as well since I have Junk Synchron. I have been able to summon this pretty easily, and using tokens and a 2-star monster that Junk Synchron would summon, giving me a throw of like 4 monsters, non-tuners that I can pop cards with. One Colossal Fighter, Thought Ruler, Magical Android, Mistworm, Mist Valley Thunderlord. You can only summon this by having a tuner monster and a non-tuner Mist Valley monster. So the obvious candidate for this is Mist Valley Falcon. And unlike Falcon, this is a bit more useful for the fact that you can return the card, any card you have on the field, whenever you want during either player's turn, once per turn, and he gains 500 for that. And one Scrap Archme. So yeah, there you have it. That was my Falcon Fortune deck. Comment, subscribe, tell me anything you want. Let me know what you think of the deck, what you take out, put in. I don't know, it's all up to you. So this is Moth89 from Team EBA signing off. Laters.